What I find beauty? Just in all that I had to learn, all of the challenges. Obviously, there were many. And you really have to, you get in some of these situations, man, where you really have to kind of dig down, and you really gotta, you gotta dig down deep to go find, the lesson in it, the growth in it, and so it's all about how you kind of look at it. We all pretty much had many reasons to hang our heads and go the other way with it. I'm just not that type of person. I'm not that type of leader, so I always find beauty in any situation.
Particularly this last stretch, was also great. What do you appreciate about it?
Say that again. I'm sorry, man.
What do you appreciate about it, or what can you find
about the season?
Just particularly this last stretch.
This last stretch was different because I really had to coach a different way. Coaching these young guys who everything was new to them. The NBA was new. The terminology's new. These are guys that are playing against starters that, will be like deep down on the roster. So I had to coach a little differently, with all of those guys, to be honest with you. I think it made me better. When I came into the season, I'm coaching all veterans, guys that have, coming off a big-time letdown in the playoffs last year. So, I felt I was always kind of built to coach vets and teams that, need to get over the hump a little bit. So this last stretch is totally different from that, and I think it taught me how to teach a little better. Obviously my patience was tested all year, but the last stretch was tough, but I think it made me better though.
Chauncey, at one point, Joe Cronin said he worried about, with you guys taking this approach, about the losing becoming like a habit, infecting you guys in a negative manner. Did you feel like it ever reached that level where this became kind of a negative thing? No,
I didn't. I didn't feel that way at all. I never did. You have to be realistic, period, with everything. We weren't talented enough to win, and we played really hard. We competed really hard, and that's why when I came up here every day or every night, that's what I harped on, is let's just try to keep building good habits, teaching these guys how to be pros, teaching these guys how to be NBA players. And let's just face it, we're playing against teams that have their starters, their teams there. We're not talented enough to actually go win a lot of games. We barely won that much at all after the break. But that's what, to me, that if you're really looking at it, you're not going to kick yourself for not winning when you know that you're just not good enough at the time. With all the young guys that we had. So now it becomes, okay, what is a small victory for you? And it becomes about development. It becomes about teaching. What can I then learn, So that's what you have to go find the way to, find the beauty in those things.
When you did have a full complement of accomplished players, I think it's safe to say it was a struggle getting them to buy into your way of playing or your philosophy. Did you learn anything in that process, and what gives you confidence that can happen next year?
Yeah, I think more than anything, Jason, I don't think that they struggle to buy into what I believe and how I want to play. I think you have a first-year coach that's trying to learn them too. And then you always have to make shifts. So, for instance, and this is, for instance, there's a couple offensive series that I really thought before I started in practice that it was going to be really good for our team. And then you go out there and you put it in the mix and you're like, damn, nah, I don't like this anymore for us. So you have things like that defensively. You look at some of the coverages and things and you're like, yeah, this is going to be good for our personnel. And then you go out And because I'm still trying to learn the personnel or us and the staff, you scratch that and say, dang, nah, let's play this way. That's what it was, really. And it had nothing to do with all our best players. Everybody was totally bought in to what I wanted to do, what we wanted to do as a staff. Then it becomes, because a lot of it was change, and then it becomes, all right, let's change and try to do that. Well, you can't just change and try to do that, and it just works out perfectly. All these type of things really take time, and you're trying to do that. Best player is hurt the whole time. He's fighting through it because he wants to work so bad. Then he's down, second best player, he's down. I mean, it just was it was tough. It was tough the whole time.
In that vein, where do you think you improved as a coach this year?
Everywhere. It was my first time. I feel like in-game stuff, I got a lot better with, some in-game adjustments, some late-game stuff. There was a couple times where I felt like, damn, man, I wish I would have caught a timeout a little earlier, Things like that I kind of struggle with, rotation stuff. Maybe not, getting a guy in the game a little earlier or should have saved him a little later. Dang, now he's tired, Things like that. I felt like I got better as the season went on. But then it became a situation where, most of my guys are kind of gone. And so now even that is hindered a little bit, But I feel like in every way, I got better. Just feeling the game, seeing the game, it kind of slowed down for me a little bit. I do know that I still have a long ways to go. I'm still not an experienced coach, but I got better in a ton of ways, though.
Chauncey, before the game, Dame's message to the fans that this will not continue.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have a message to the fans that you'd like to?
I second that. I mean, we're really, really excited about the possibilities, from today forward, this spring, this summer. And Dame, as he said out there, he's very, very motivated to make this a winner, And obviously, you all know that I am too. So we're going to be working very diligently to make that happen. I'm really, really excited, extremely excited that we can kind of build this thing, in a different way that it was. We have the ability to do so. I'm really excited about that. So I agree, and I'm 100% on board with that. I mean, this won't continue.
Can you give some bullet points on where you guys want to, or what areas you want to address, or where you want to improve?
Well, I think obviously we have some free agents. We got Nurk as a free agent. I really loved coaching Nurk this year. I felt like he got back to a point where his confidence was at all-time high. And again, that's one of those things too. You start the season. We're playing through Dame, we're playing through CJ. We're doing all this. We're giving Nurk a little bit now. I grew to have a ton more confidence in playing, throwing it to Nurk on the block instead of like always hitting them in the gap on the pick and roll. Like, had to learn through that, But anyway, obviously, I loved coaching Nurk. Hopefully that works back out. But I think we need more size, on perimeter. Obviously, y'all know I value tough, competitive guys, 3-and-D guys, not just defensive players that play both sides of the ball. And we're going to be looking to add guys like that, hopefully, So we'll see.
Chauncey, sort of to the point about you being excited about the future, did you, because before you decided to get into coaching, you were kind of in, maybe going to go the front office route.
Yeah.
Maybe had a few of those opportunities. So the fact that, at some point in your career you were interested in that, and I would assume that means you have some knowledge of like the salary cap and draft picks and all that stuff, did having that background sort of make it easier for you to kind of, when Joe comes to you and says, hey, look, we're going to do this, we're going to really kind of pivot, did that kind of make it easier for you to see the bigger picture kind of as all these losses were piling up night to night?
Absolutely. That is, an area in which I desired to be in at one point, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm really excited about this summer. I'm really excited about it because I'll be here every day, making sure that that we build this thing the proper way. I'm gonna be 100% a part of all of that stuff, in all of those meetings and everything, the draft, everything. I'm gonna be a part of everything because none of us ever want to go through this again, so that's the way to make sure of that.
Coach, a lot more opportunity for some of these young guys, undrafted guys this year than there would have been in the past. What does it mean for you to be part of their NBA journey?
Yeah, I took a lot of pride in it, not just myself, but the entire staff. We put a lot into it, and it's important that they have somebody, one, that played, that understand how important it is for them to have the opportunity, but not only just having it, but not taking advantage of the opportunity. We coached them pretty hard every day, because most of those guys are going to be 12, 13, 14, 15 guys on a roster. And obviously it matters how they play, They're not going to be shooting 15 times a game. Like, you're going to be in there short minutes sometimes. How can you have an impact, So it was a tough rub because now we need them to score 13, 14, 15 points, but we also need them to understand, like, when you have a full cast of characters, you might go 3 or 4 weeks without playing in a game. How you gonna stay focused? How you gonna be a good teammate? A lot of those little lessons we had to teach the whole time. But I really do believe they all helped themselves. They had the opportunity to actually show and prove, like, what they could be. Now everybody has film on them to be able to at least evaluate them.